Hello and welcome to Thought for Thursday. We are almost there if you're watching us live on a Thursday. What do I mean we're almost there? It's almost Friday. So hang in there. I'm happy that you have joined me today. As you know, Thought for Thursday is a part of Leveling Up the Podcast, which is a more extended version of the podcast. But but Thought for Thursday comes to you on Thursdays at 7 o'clock for just 15 minutes, tackling an issue, a pain point, tackling something that you need some resources around so that when you leave here, you will have 5 tips. You will have 5 tools that you can employ and apply to whatever the situation, whatever the topic is for the show. So, again, welcome. What we're talking about today, we have been pretty consistently talking, of course, about reinvention, and we've got a couple of things coming up. We just finished our summer school series that really was focused around getting us ready. And now we are kind of doing some of the fine edge things, some of the shape up stuff that we need to do in preparation for reinvention. And what we're talking about tonight is something that you really need to focus in on because we're making changes and we want to make sure that our environment is conducive to the change that we're making. So we just like, the fact that the seasons are changing. We know that changes that are made are going to require some things to be a little different. That's what change is, right? So as the season is beginning to change, it's kind of hard to tell today because it's pretty warm outside. But the season is beginning to change, and you can see it in the leaves just a bit, and the air feels a little different, and the days are starting to get just a little shorter. And as we go further into the season, of course, you're going to see colors begin to change. So whether we realize it or not, the comparison I really want to make here is just like, we have 4 seasons typically. We go through seasons ourselves in our lives. But what we also need to realize about these seasons is that you can't change frequently with a lot of the seasons that we have. I know, for example, you have to change clothes when you go from winter to summer, right? Well, you can't step into a new season dragging the same old habits that you had from the season that you're leaving. Those habits that really kind of kept you stuck in the last season. You can't bring those into this new one that we're going into. Because if you do, the next, few months, the end of the year, going into the new year is going to look just like the days before. So the 90 days that we're approaching are going to look like the 90 days that we're coming out of, right? And I understand, trust me, there's something about comfort and old habits, they're pretty comfortable. They feel safe, they're familiar, but safety and growth can rarely live in the same space. I need you to remember that. The very patterns that we cling to, like overthinking, what else? People pleasing. That's a huge one. The fact that we don't always establish boundaries. Those are the same habits that are really going to rob us going into this new season. They're going to rob us of our peace and they're going to rob us of progress. So, what I'm doing today is sharing 5 habits that you can't take into the new season. I started the show by saying I always give you 5 tools that you're going to leave with that you can apply to your problems. Well, this is something of awareness this week. I want you to think about this because many of you don't see your bad habits as being bad habits. I'm guilty. I know I don't frequently, but I want to tell you and make you aware, just in case you need a little nudging, that there are some habits that you may have that you really don't need to take with you into what you're trying to do now. The first habit I have up already, and that's overthinking every decision. And a lot of that is rooted in various things. It's rooted in what we've been talking about a lot already. It's rooted in perfection. It's rooted in needing to please. And I'll just stop there because as we progress, even through these habits that I'm talking about, you'll see where the overlap begins to happen. So, overthinking really does keep you circling because you're constantly thinking, this has to be this way. Now, let's say we've got that established. Well, I wonder if it would have been better if I had this in place. It really just really kind of keeps you circling that airport, but never ever landing the plane. That's the analogy I want to use with this. So I need you to shift. Give yourself time limits for everyday choices. We talked about that last week, didn't we? But it's true. Give yourself some time limits. Decide in 5 minutes, not 5 days. All right. So begin to narrow those things down. And so then what happens is clarity is going to peek through for you from the movement itself. All right. And not from waiting. So, what's habit number two? Well, habit number two that you need to let go of is saying yes out of guilt. And there's a misspelling there, but you get what I'm saying. Many of us have that whole I need to say yes because I don't want to upset anyone. I need to say yes because yes works better for them. I need to say yes because what are they going to think about me if I don't? I need to say yes because I feel like if I do more, then I have more value. The list goes on for why it is that we feel that we have to say yes. And much of that really does relate back to guilt. Guilt over what? Many times I'll go out on a limb and say most of the time you have nothing to feel guilty about. But for some reason, such as the reasons that I just mentioned, you feel like, yeah, I'm going to have to say yes, even though this yes is not my best yes. So when every yes is for someone else, guess what? Your no is always for yourself. I'll say that again. When every yes is for someone else, your no is always for yourself. You're always telling yourself no if you're telling everybody else yes. So I need you to shift. Start practicing the boundary phrases like, that's not really going to work for me right now. Perhaps I need to come back to this, revisit this, and do things a little differently. Thank you for thinking of me, but this time I'm going to have to pass. And what you'll begin to do as you start putting these phrases into your vocabulary, you'll begin to establish those boundaries. Boundaries because they don't really push people away, they protect you, they protect your peace. You need to show up fully, all right, in what you're trying to do in making your life better. You need to show up fully for yourself because if you don't, you're not going to get the full thriving life that you desire to have. All right. So, habit number two, stop the saying yes out of guilt. Habit number three, we need to stop ignoring our own needs. That really just feeds right into what I said a few minutes ago, right? When we are looking at making sure that everyone else's needs are met, we frequently neglect ourselves. I refer to this as putting our pot on the back burner. You're going to watch that pot, all right, it's on the front burner. You're going to watch all of your pots, I hope. But usually, when you put it on the back burner, that means you don't have to watch it as closely all the time. So, you forever and a day And I'm really talking, in particular to my women in the Middle Ages, because this is where our next reinvention, this is where this whole reinvention process has really been focused in on. So we've poured into other people forever, right? So much so that we are so used to our cup being empty, and we think that that's okay. Well, guess what? It's not. Because just as someone else needs to be nourished, just as someone else needs liquids in order to be hydrated, well, you do too. So you've spent years upon years pouring into others, but again, an empty cup can't really pour, right? So now you're empty, you don't have anything. And not only do you not have anything for anyone else, you definitely don't have anything for yourself. So here's the shift: anchor one daily non negotiable. Let's start small. One daily non negotiable. I'm going to journal for 10 minutes. I am going to make sure that I do some stretching before I go to bed, 15 minutes, which means no matter what time I'm thinking of going to bed, I need to give myself 15 minutes earlier to make sure that I can get that stretching in. All right. Give yourself a 10-minute non negotiable: prayer, walking, and then begin to again put that kind of vocabulary, those that kind of jargon into your vocabulary, so that you can begin to understand that your needs are important, and you begin to see the effect of not ignoring your needs. Habit number 4: you need to make sure that you are not waiting for the perfect time, because guess what? The perfect time ain't going to come. That's the thing about perfection. Perfection steals us, it robs us of so many things because we don't realize that there is no such thing as perfection. It's not going to be perfect because we are not perfect people. And I know that may be an epiphany for many of you, but I'm here to tell you it is indeed the truth. If you're waiting for all the stars to align perfectly for you, you're going to be waiting forever. All right. So here's where I need you to shift: take imperfect action. It's okay. Just take action. You can fix things up a little later. Once you actually get moving, go ahead and send the email after you've already read it 3 times, right? It's probably okay to go ahead and send it. Or if you want to bounce it off of someone, but send the email, make the call, block the time, whatever it is that you need to do. Don't let procrastination and perfection stop you from moving. And the last thing that I want you to make sure of is that you need to stop carrying old beliefs. We talked about how those old habits can't go into your new place. Your old beliefs can't carry you there either. And that's a lot of what they truly do. Thoughts like I'm too old, it's too late, I never will, I never could, I shouldn't, I wouldn't. All of those things, I'm not enough, I have no place in this new season. I need you to shift. Write one new belief down starting tonight. I am worthy of change. I give myself permission to reinvent this life so that I can get it to one in which I'm thriving and not merely surviving. I'm more than enough for the life that I desire. Whatever it is, write it down. It sounds a little like an affirmation what I was just saying, right? Well, yeah, make it one. Make sure that you do whatever is necessary so that you can get rid of those old beliefs, because they are at the foundation of where we need to build. Our beliefs are the foundation. And if you've got old and incorrect beliefs, then the change that you're trying to make, the difference that you're trying to make in your life is not going to occur. All right. So, old beliefs that you need to leave behind in this season. You have to stop saying no out of guilt. You have to stop overthinking every decision. You have to stop waiting on perfection, because guess what? It's not coming. And Make sure that you're not carrying those old beliefs into the new season that we're working on. All right. So that's it. I have something special I want to tell you about. And you may have seen it in social media on my pages already, but I am launching a boot camp in 2 weeks, and it is absolutely free. I really would love to help you to get started so that you can reinvent. And the boot camp is reinvented to thrive, break free, step into your worth, and live on purpose. Why? Because it is time. It is time to stop half stepping. Many of us have half stepped for so long, we don't know what it feels like to take a full step. We don't know what that feels like. We don't know what it looks like to go full out for what it is that we desire to do, what it is that we desire in life. What does it mean to go full out? Well, I have just put a QR code, and I want you to scan that at the top of the page. Scan that QR code and find out about this 3-day boot camp that is the perfect introduction to the change that you want to make. It is the perfect catalyst for getting things done. We're talking about the importance of realizing what you can do in your middle years. We're talking about letting go of those old beliefs. We're talking about a blueprint, all right, for reinventing, all right. Scan the QR code so that you can be a part of this. Again, it is absolutely free. It is 3 days and it starts October 6th through October 8th. Now go out and be authentically yourself, knowing that you are enough, knowing that what you have is something of value, something that will make a difference, not only for you, but for someone else. Go out, pursue that difference, pursue that change so that you can be the absolute best version of yourself. And that's something that we frequently don't even think about. But go and pursue that. And until we meet again, make sure that you do everything possible to be well.